Welcome to IELTS CELPIP MasterPrep, your trusted source for real exam-based practice tests. Every test you see here is inspired by current exam trends, and each one comes with full model solutions to help you master every section. Here's our daily schedule. IELTS tests drop every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and CLP tests every evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. No matter which exam you're preparing for, we've got you covered every single day. Are you ready for today's test? Give it your best shot and comment your score. The top 5 scorers will be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter and awards. Want your name included? Let's begin.
What advice would you give your friend to help her choose between the job offer in Vancouver and the one in Calgary? Begin speaking now.
I think you should seriously consider the Calgary offer. First of all, the cost of living in Calgary is much lower than in Vancouver, especially when it comes to housing. You could afford a nice apartment or even save for a house there. Also, the project manager position sounds like a higher role, so it could be better for your career. Vancouver is a beautiful city, but it is very expensive. In Calgary, you would have more money left over each month. I really believe Calgary is the smarter choice for your future.
If I were in your shoes, I would lean towards accepting the Calgary offer, and here is why. From a financial perspective, Calgary offers a significantly lower cost of living compared to Vancouver, particularly regarding rent and real estate prices. Beyond that, the project manager role carries greater responsibility, which would strengthen your resume considerably. While Vancouver certainly has an appealing lifestyle with its mild winters and ocean scenery, the financial pressure of living there might offset those advantages. Additionally, Alberta has no provincial sales tax, which means more savings in your daily life. Ultimately, Calgary seems to offer a stronger foundation for both your career growth and financial stability.
This is genuinely a tough decision, but after weighing the pros and cons, I would strongly encourage you to pursue the Calgary opportunity. From a career trajectory standpoint, the project manager position offers substantially more room for professional advancement compared to a coordinator role. Moreover, Calgary's considerably lower cost of living, particularly in housing, would allow you to build meaningful savings or even invest in property, something that remains increasingly unattainable in Vancouver's notoriously inflated real estate market. That said, I do acknowledge Vancouver's cultural vibrancy and milder climate are compelling draws. However, I believe those lifestyle perks should not overshadow the tangible career and financial benefits Calgary presents. You could always relocate to the West Coast later once you have established a stronger professional and financial footing. In the long run, Calgary positions you for greater success.
Your friend is being resistant to your advice about choosing Calgary. How do you address her concerns and try to persuade her to keep an open mind? Begin speaking now.
I understand you really love Vancouver, and I respect that. But please hear me out before you make your final decision. The salary in Calgary is better, and you would spend much less on rent every month. That extra money could help you travel to Vancouver on weekends or holidays. I am not telling you what to do, I just want you to think about both options carefully. You are my friend, and I want the best for you. Can you at least visit Calgary before deciding? You might be surprised by how much you like it there.
I completely understand your attachment to Vancouver. It is a fantastic city, and I can see why it appeals to you. However, I think you might be letting your emotions cloud a really important decision. Consider this: the pay difference and lower expenses in Calgary could actually fund regular trips to Vancouver whenever you want. You would enjoy the best of both worlds. I am not dismissing your feelings at all, but I genuinely believe you owe it to yourself to evaluate this objectively. What specifically worries you about Calgary? If it is the winters, plenty of Canadians thrive there and enjoy activities like skiing in the Rockies. I just want to make sure you are not closing a door that could truly transform your career. Will you at least keep an open mind?
Listen, I truly respect your enthusiasm for Vancouver, and I would never want to pressure you into something that does not feel right. That said, I think it is worth examining why you are so quickly dismissing Calgary without giving it a fair chance. Sometimes our emotional attachment to an idea can prevent us from seeing an objectively superior opportunity. The financial reality is significant. Vancouver's housing costs alone could consume a disproportionate share of your income, potentially leaving you stressed rather than enjoying the lifestyle you are romanticizing. Meanwhile, Calgary offers a thriving professional community, proximity to breathtaking nature in Banff and the Canadian Rockies, and a genuinely welcoming culture. I am not suggesting Vancouver lacks merit, rather, I am asking you to approach this decision with the analytical mindset you would bring to any major professional choice. Would you be willing to spend a weekend exploring Calgary before committing? I have a feeling your perspective might shift considerably once you experience what the city actually has to offer.
Describe what you see happening in this busy park scene. Include as many details as you can about the people, activities, and surroundings. Begin speaking now.
In this picture, I can see a very busy park on a beautiful sunny day. There are many families enjoying the warm weather. In the center of the park, some children are playing on a large playground with slides and swings. On the left side, a group of people is having a barbecue on the grass. Near the pond, an older couple is sitting on a bench and feeding the ducks. There is also a man selling ice cream from a small cart. In the background, I can see tall trees with green leaves and some buildings behind them. Everyone looks very happy and relaxed.
This picture depicts a lively Canadian park bustling with weekend activity on what appears to be a gorgeous late May afternoon. In the foreground, several young families have spread colorful blankets across the grass for picnics, with coolers and baskets scattered around them. Towards the center, a group of children is energetically chasing each other through a splash pad, their laughter almost visible in the scene. Off to the right, a casual soccer match is underway among teenagers, while nearby a couple practices yoga on matching mats. A vendor cart offering fresh lemonade and poutine has attracted a small queue of customers. Along the winding pathway, joggers and cyclists share the trail, navigating around a woman pushing a double stroller. The mature maple trees provide patches of pleasant shade, and in the distance, the city skyline frames the entire scene beautifully.
This vibrant scene captures the quintessential Canadian weekend afternoon in a sprawling urban park bathed in warm late May sunshine. The foreground is dominated by a patchwork of families lounging on picnic blankets, their spreads featuring an assortment of snacks, thermoses, and the occasional board game. Immediately to the left, a multicultural group of parents supervises toddlers navigating an elaborate wooden playground structure, while slightly beyond, a cluster of children shrieks with delight as they dart through an arching splash pad fountain. The middle ground reveals a spirited ultimate frisbee game unfolding on a wide green field, with spectators cheering casually from folding chairs along the perimeter. Adjacent to them, a street musician strums an acoustic guitar beside an open case collecting contributions from appreciative passers-by. A charming food cart, adorned with hand-painted signage advertising maple-glazed treats, has drawn a steady stream of curious customers. The winding asphalt pathway threading through the park accommodates a continuous flow of joggers, inline skaters, and families on bicycles. Towering sugar maples cast dappled shadows across the landscape, and the distant city skyline provides a striking urban backdrop to this idyllic communal gathering.
How do you predict remote work will change Canadian cities over the next decade? What effects will this have on both large cities and smaller communities? Begin speaking now.
I believe remote work will change Canadian cities a lot in the next 10 years. First, I think many people will move away from expensive cities like Toronto and Vancouver. They will choose smaller, more affordable places like Kelowna or Moncton instead. This means smaller towns will grow and need more services like schools and hospitals. Big cities might see lower housing prices because fewer people will want to live there. Also, I think downtown areas will have fewer office buildings and more apartments or shops. Overall, I predict that Canada will become more spread out, with people living in many different places instead of just a few big cities.
I predict that remote work will fundamentally reshape the geography of Canadian urban life over the coming decade. Larger metropolitan centres such as Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver will likely experience a gradual population decline as professionals realize they no longer need to endure astronomical housing costs simply to be near their offices. Consequently, mid-sized cities like Halifax, Saskatoon, and Kamloops stand to benefit enormously from this migration, gaining both economic investment and cultural diversity. Commercial real estate in major downtowns will probably undergo a significant transformation, with vacant office towers being converted into residential units or mixed-use developments. Furthermore, I anticipate that municipal governments in smaller communities will need to invest heavily in broadband infrastructure to attract and retain these remote workers. On the flip side, traditional urban amenities like public transit systems may face funding challenges as ridership declines. Ultimately, I foresee a more geographically balanced Canada emerging from this shift.
Over the next decade, I predict remote work will serve as a powerful catalyst for demographic redistribution across Canada, fundamentally altering the economic and social fabric of both metropolitan hubs and rural communities. Major centers like Toronto and Vancouver, long considered essential for career advancement, will gradually lose their monopoly on professional talent as companies embrace location-independent employment models. This exodus will exert meaningful downward pressure on previously unattainable housing markets, potentially improving affordability for those who choose to remain. Simultaneously, smaller municipalities, from Prince Edward Island's Charlottetown to British Columbia's interior towns, will experience unprecedented population influxes, stimulating local economies but also straining existing infrastructure. I anticipate that forward-thinking provincial governments will proactively invest in high-speed internet connectivity and co-working spaces in these emerging hubs to capitalize on this trend. The cultural landscape of Canadian cities will evolve as well. Downtown cores once defined by corporate office towers will likely transform into vibrant mixed-use neighborhoods prioritizing residential living, independent retail, and community gathering spaces. However, This transition will not be without challenges. Income inequality between digitally connected communities and those left behind could widen considerably. Nevertheless, if managed thoughtfully, this remote work revolution has the potential to create a more equitable and geographically diverse Canadian society.
Compare the two universities and persuade your friend to choose one of them. Explain why you think one university would be a better fit. Begin speaking now.
I think you should pick UBC over McGill. Both are excellent schools, but UBC is better for environmental science. First, UBC is located in Vancouver, which has mountains, forests, and the ocean nearby. This means you can do fieldwork in amazing places. Second, UBC has a strong sustainability program and many research centers focused on the environment. Also, living in Vancouver means milder winters compared to Montreal. The cost of living is high, but you can find student housing on campus. Overall, I believe UBC will give you the best experience for your studies.
I would strongly recommend choosing UBC over McGill, and let me explain why. While both universities are world-class institutions with excellent reputations, UBC stands out for environmental science specifically. Vancouver's diverse ecosystems, including coastal rainforests, mountain ranges, and marine environments, provide unmatched opportunities for hands-on fieldwork. UBC's Faculty of Forestry and its research centers in sustainability are internationally recognized. Additionally, Vancouver's climate is much more moderate than Montreal's harsh winters, which could affect your daily life and outdoor research. McGill is a fantastic school, but the bilingual requirement in Montreal might also pose challenges. Considering your career goals in environmental science, I truly believe UBC would serve you best.
Without hesitation, I would encourage you to select UBC, though I completely understand why McGill is tempting. Let me break down my reasoning. Academically, both institutions rank among Canada's top research universities. However, UBC's environmental science program benefits enormously from its geographic setting. Vancouver offers immediate access to temperate rainforests, alpine ecosystems, and the Pacific coastline, essentially transforming the entire region into a living laboratory. UBC's BD Biodiversity Museum and its partnerships with organizations like Ocean Networks Canada provide research opportunities that are genuinely difficult to replicate elsewhere. From a lifestyle perspective, Vancouver's milder climate allows year-round outdoor fieldwork, whereas Montreal's prolonged winters could limit certain research activities. Furthermore, Vancouver's growing green technology sector offers superior networking and internship prospects in your field. While McGill certainly excels in many disciplines, for environmental science specifically, UBC is the clear frontrunner.
What would you do and say to resolve this difficult situation with your landlord? Begin speaking now.
First, I would go directly to my landlord's office or home and speak to them in person. I would say that the heating has been broken for 3 days and it is dangerously cold. I would remind them that under Ontario tenant laws, they must provide heat. I would also say that if they do not fix it within 24 hours, I will contact the city's property standards department. Meanwhile, I would buy a space heater and keep the receipts so my landlord can pay me back. I think being firm but polite is the best approach.
This is a serious situation, so I would take several steps immediately. First, I would send a formal written letter or email to my landlord documenting the issue, including dates and previous attempts to reach them. I would clearly state that Ontario's Residential Tenancies Act requires landlords to maintain heating systems, especially during winter. I would say something like, "I have contacted you multiple times, and this is now a health and safety concern. I am requesting immediate repair within 24 hours. If they still do not respond, I would file a complaint with the Landlord and Tenant Board. In the meantime, I would purchase a portable heater and deduct the cost from my rent, keeping all receipts as documentation."
Given that this situation poses a genuine health and safety risk in Ottawa's extreme winter conditions, I would escalate my approach strategically while remaining professional. My first step would be to send a detailed written notice via email and registered mail, creating a formal paper trail. In this notice, I would outline the timeline of the malfunction, reference my previous unanswered communications, and explicitly cite the landlord's obligations under Ontario's Residential Tenancies Act, Section 20, which mandates the maintenance of vital services including heat. I would write something along the lines of, "This letter serves as formal notice that the lack of heating constitutes a breach of your legal obligations and endangers my well-being. I am requesting emergency repairs within 24 hours, failing which I will file a T6 application with the Landlord and Tenant Board." Simultaneously, I would contact Ottawa's 311 service to report the violation and request a property standards inspection. As a temporary measure, I would purchase an electric heater and document all associated expenses for potential reimbursement through the board's order.
Do you think Canada should increase its immigration targets? What is your opinion and why? Begin speaking now.
In my opinion, Canada should increase immigration targets, but carefully. First, Canada needs more workers because many Canadians are retiring. Immigrants can fill important jobs in healthcare, construction, and technology. Second, immigrants bring new skills and ideas that help the economy grow. However, the government must also invest in housing and services. If too many people arrive without enough homes or hospitals, it creates problems for everyone. So, I believe Canada should welcome more immigrants, but the government needs a good plan to support them and existing communities at the same time.
I believe Canada should moderately increase its immigration targets, provided the government simultaneously invests in the necessary infrastructure to support population growth. Canada is facing a significant demographic challenge. Our population is aging rapidly, and birth rates remain low. Without immigration, we would struggle to maintain our workforce, fund public pensions, and sustain our healthcare system. Skilled immigrants contribute enormously to innovation and economic productivity, particularly in sectors experiencing critical shortages like technology, skilled trades, and healthcare. That said, I also recognize the legitimate concerns about housing affordability, which has become a pressing issue in cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Therefore, any increase in targets must be accompanied by substantial investments in affordable housing, healthcare capacity, and settlement services to ensure successful integration for newcomers and quality of life for all Canadians.
My position is that Canada should pursue a measured increase in immigration targets, but this must be executed as part of a comprehensive, evidence-based strategy rather than implemented in isolation. The demographic rationale is compelling. Statistics Canada projections indicate that by the early 2030s, natural population growth will approach zero, meaning immigration will become virtually the sole driver of population growth. From an economic standpoint, targeted immigration programs addressing specific labor market gaps in healthcare, skilled trades, and technology are demonstrably beneficial. Moreover, Canada's multicultural framework, arguably one of the most successful integration models globally, positions us well to welcome newcomers. However, I firmly believe that increasing targets without proportionally expanding infrastructure would be counterproductive. The current housing crisis, healthcare wait times, and strained municipal services illustrate what happens when population growth outpaces planning. Consequently, I would advocate for a phased approach, gradually raising targets while simultaneously investing in housing construction, expanding healthcare training seats, and strengthening settlement support programs. Immigration is undeniably essential to Canada's future prosperity, but responsible implementation is equally critical.
Describe this unusual situation. What did you see, what happened, and what did you do? Begin speaking now.
Last Sunday morning, I was walking my dog in Stanley Park when something unusual happened. I noticed a large black duffel bag sitting alone on a park bench. Nobody was around, so I opened it carefully. Inside, I saw stacks of $100 bills neatly wrapped in elastic bands. There must have been over $100,000. My heart started beating fast, and I looked around to see if anyone was watching. I did not touch the money. Instead, I immediately called the Vancouver police and waited by the bench until they arrived. It was the strangest thing that has ever happened to me.
Something truly extraordinary happened to me last Sunday, while I was walking my golden retriever through Stanley Park on a crisp, quiet morning. As we passed a secluded bench near the seawall, I spotted a large navy duffel bag that appeared deliberately placed. Curiosity got the better of me, and when I unzipped it, I could hardly believe my eyes. The bag was packed with neatly bundled stacks of Canadian $100 bills, easily exceeding $100,000. My initial reaction was pure shock, followed by a wave of anxiety. I quickly scanned the surrounding area, but the park was virtually deserted. Despite a fleeting temptation, I knew the right thing to do was contact the authorities immediately. I called the Vancouver Police non-emergency line, described my location precisely, and waited with my dog until 2 officers arrived to secure the scene.
I experienced something utterly surreal last Sunday that still feels like a scene from a crime thriller. I had taken my golden retriever for our usual early morning walk through Stanley Park, enjoying the misty calm along the seawall near Second Beach. The park was almost entirely deserted, which made the sight of a large, navy blue duffel bag perched conspicuously on an otherwise empty bench all the more striking. Something about its deliberate placement compelled me to investigate. When I cautiously unzipped the bag, I was met with an astonishing sight, row upon row of crisp Canadian $100 bills, meticulously bundled with rubber bands. A rough mental estimate suggested the total easily surpassed $100,000. My emotions shifted rapidly from disbelief to unease, as the implications of such a discovery raced through my mind. I instinctively stepped back, ensured I had not disturbed anything further, and immediately dialed the Vancouver Police Department. While waiting for officers to arrive, I kept a careful distance from the bench, my mind swirling with questions about how such an enormous sum had ended up abandoned in one of Canada's most beloved urban parks. The officers commended my decision not to remove anything and took my statement before securing the area as a potential crime scene.
Before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with other test takers, and subscribe so you never miss your daily IELTS and CELPIP tests. Drop your score in the comments. Your name could be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep leveling up with MasterPrep.